Okay, let's take a look at 17. 17 is one of these problems where you're comparing different ways of compounding. So the first one, let's see. Well, in all cases, we're depositing $2,000, and remember these take the form of, you know, after what is this? 3 years. So we're gonna say T is three. T is 3 years. Um, and let's see. Let's do quarterly first. In fact, if we just did once a year, so if only once a year, then it would be 2,000 times 1 point. It's 4% interest, so 1.0. What? Let's do it like this: 1 plus 0.04. That's the original 100% plus the extra 4%. 4% interest. And then we would raise it to just the one because it would be only one time a year. And then we could just figure out whatever that is, right? But in this case, it's saying quarterly. And when it says quarterly, 4 times a year, what this 4% really means is this is that nominal interest rate. It's not the real interest, it's the stated rate. And really, the real interest, the more frequently you do it, the better it is, right? So if 4 times a year, then what we're really going to do is we're not going to do 4% 4 times a year. What we're really going to do is 4% cut into 4 parts, so 1% 4 times a year. So if I do it for 3 years, it's 4 times 3 up here. Because we're really compounding it 12 times, and this is just 1%, 1/4 of 4%. So if we plug that into a calculator, let's see, 2,000 times parentheses 1 plus 0.04 over 4 to the 4 times 3. So we get 2253.65. And I'm rounding it off at this place, at the 100th place, because it's money. So that makes the most sense, I think. Okay, so that's A. B is what if it's monthly? So if 12 times per year. Okay, well, then the value of this account is going to be 2,000. One, that's the original 100% plus. And then the 4% now isn't really 4% one time a year, it's 4% 12 times a year. So it's 4% cut into 12 parts. And let's see, it's 12 times a year, and we're doing it for 3 years. So we're really compounding it 36 times. So if we type in this thing, let's see, I'll just re-enter that. And let's see, what do we have to change here? That 4 turns into a 12. And that turns into a 12 as well. So 12 times 3. Oops, sorry, I forgot the parentheses there. Second insert parentheses. And we get 2254.54. Okay, and if it's done daily, so 365 times per year, well, we've got our initial amount, 2,000, 1 plus, and then that it's not really 4% once a year, it's 4% cut up into 365 parts, done 365 times a year, and we're doing it for 3 years, so it's really that many times we're compounding. And if we plug that into a calculator now, I'll just type it in like this: 2,000 times 1 plus 0.04 divided by 365. Whoops. And then to the 365 times 3, we get 2254.98. Now, if you remember, if it's actually compounded, this isn't here, but I'm previewing it. If compounded every single instant, so continuously, then this formula no longer applies and it turns into this. The original amount invested, e to the r times t. And so this becomes P naught is 2000. E is just some number that's about 2.71. And we're raising it to the rate, the 0.04 rate, and then times 3 years. And so if we actually type in this one, let's see what that is. E to the power of is this button right there. And it's, you can see it right here. It's the ln button there with if you hit second first. And then times I hit ln a bunch, 0.04 times 3. And you can see doing it once a day is very close to doing it every instant right here. It's only a difference of 2 cents in this case, or 1 cent even, more like 1.5 cents. Yeah. So that's 2254.99. Okay. All right. Now this one right here, that PERT formula, compounded continuously, I'm okay if you don't know that yet. I'm just previewing it so that when we do get to it at some point, you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of familiar.